Hello friends, here I am talking again about this same subject. I didn't think I would be doing a video so soon on it, but something just happened that sent chills down my spine. It has to do with this subject, and it revealed some things for me very clearly and practical, and I want to share that with you. And also I want to share with you some other insights I had by reading Dante's Divine Comedy. I mentioned that in the last video. I will check. So let's start over there, and then I'll tell you what just happened and how we can tie this together and think about it. And of course, I'm very interested in what you have to offer, what you think about it. It's a big subject, so my mind is not enough, although I am getting the company of greater minds like Dante's and philosophers, and I'm reading about it, and that's good. I would still want to know what you think here. Okay, so it turns out that in the Divine Comedy, as I searched, there's no specific place for the stupid people, something like that. But there is a reference in Song 3, which is at the very beginning of the book, that talks about it and is super interesting. Check this out. I'm going to read it. The gate and vestibule of hell, cowards and neutrals, Acheron. So this is sort of the theme. Here it goes. Through me one goes into the town of woe. Through me one goes into eternal pain. Through me among the people that are lost. Justice inspired my high exalted maker. I was created by the might divine. The highest wisdom and the primal love. Before me there was naught created, save eternal things, and I eternal last. All hope abandoned, yet that enter here. These words of gloom color I beheld, inscribed upon the summit of a gate, whence their meaning, teacher, troubles me, says Dante to Virgil, who's accompanying him. So they're at the ante inferno. They're not yet in the full thing. And so this is what Virgil answers. And he to me, like one aware, replied, all fearfulness must here be left behind. All forms of cowardice must here be dead. We have reached the place where, as I said to thee, thou'lt see the sad folk who have lost the good, which is the object of the intellect. Then, after he had placed his hand in mine, with cheerful face, whence I was comforted, he led me in among the hidden things. Here's a very interesting thing, because we are told that in the place right before hell, you're going to find from now on are the people who have lost the good, which is the object of the intellect. Virgil there is saying there's a faulty reasoning at the beginning of all sin. This is how you go through hell. This is how I interpret it, right? Because he's saying, well, he's not saying, well, all that had evil minds, and no, he's like, they have lost the good, which is the object of the intellect. That means the reasoning is oriented most properly towards the good, towards truth, towards the beautiful. And that's how it keeps on rails. And it derails every time you have faulty reasoning that forgets the good, the truth, and the beauty. So you have that faulty reasoning, and through faulty reasoning, one after another, you can go to hell. And today, I was in a catechism class, and there's a student who says really wild things, to say the least. I would say stupid things, since this is the subject, because they're like, this makes no sense, right? And it's like off the topic. It derails what we're talking about. But then she persists. This is the key, right? We're seeing, or I'm understanding, the stubbornness is the key, is the twin brother, right, of stupidity. If there's no stupidity without stubbornness, because we all say and do stupid things. That's part of human nature. But when you insist, even evidence is offered, proof, truth is offered right there, and you're combative about it, that's when stupidity comes. So this person says something, it's like, wow, that doesn't make sense. Example, the teacher is talking about how Christianity view its followers as sheep. No, how interesting that is. So we're people that listen, right? The sheep obeys. Obeys comes from Latin, ob audire, to listen. And he's saying that. And she goes, well, aren't there rams? And they're very valiant in with the sheeps, and they're right? So what that has to do, well, but it's off the topic. And so somebody told her, well, yeah, there are, but we're talking about the whole sheep, and the pastor and all that, and that doesn't have anything to do, right? But she persists. No, they have these big horns, and they go, and there are enough males, and there could be, like, whoa. And she keeps going, and you see that after 3-4 things are offered to her, like, yeah, that's off the topic. It's really wild to be saying something like that, I could say also, well, sheep could bite, and they bite people. And it's like, sure, but the whole package we're talking about is the relationship with God and pastor and the sheep, and how it takes care of the sheep, and in overall, they obey that to be safe and be led in a good path, and we are receptive and we listen. Okay, all that, right? I think you understand. But she persists after 3-4 things that other students may say. You can see her, like, she's not convinced. She has gone 3-4 times against that. And she's like, All right. This is very common in the interactions in this class with her. But today she says something very concerning, suddenly, because there's a lot of violence in what she says. She says things, well, all Arabs and Muslims are trash. All that religion is trash, because it's like, whoa, there are things like that. And she persists. You say, well, you can't generalize like that. And so there are a lot of good reasoning to the good is offered. You can't generalize like that. You have to, anyway, you understand. I hope that the people listening here understand what you can say against such a fanatic point of view, right? So a lot of things, but she's like, and this is like the second time she does it, and she brings up something against the Muslim, and like, really, that's trash. They're totally trash, and like that, literally. These are the words that she uses. And she insists, wow. But today then, she said, well, according to the Bible, isn't it okay to kill people? And that was concerning, right? She said it with such a certainty. And then she started backing it up. It will be okay to kill people for the good then. And so a lot of things were offered, and she's still backing it up, and I think I said something, well, remember, Jesus says, love even your enemy. So that's our religion. And somebody else offered something, and she came back at it, and And then I asked her, because I was concerned. And you can see that she's like intense and backs it up and brings back, well, David killed this and that. I killed Goliath, right? And so then killing people. I had to ask her, do you have somebody in mind that you're thinking of, you want to kill? Look, I know. I work in court, so I know, and also a little bit about the psychology of some murderers. Sometimes they, at some point, reveal to the psychologist, to somebody, a friend, something like that. Yeah, it's okay, and it's something I'm thinking of doing that, or at a stage that they're not yet developed into a full plan, and they reveal that, and it's important to tackle it right there. All right, no matter what we said, she was still convinced, and we moved on into other things. So there it is. There it is. Faulty reasoning outside of the good, as Virgil, Dante, is saying, have lost the good which is the object of the intellect. But this, you're right before hell. You're right there. You add persistence to that, impermeability to good reasoning, stubbornness, and then you have right there stupidity. You are on your way if you continue, because if you keep adding, this person, who knows, may decide to murder somebody, maybe an Arab. I don't know. It's just, anyway, I talk with the teacher, and he's going to talk with her more and with others, make sure she's contained and she understands and everything. But a lot of work has to go there to avoid derailing. The fact that I saw it there like a gift from God for seeing the whole subject. Like, okay, there it is. Faulty reasoning. I've lost the good, which is the object of the intellect. Stubbornness, some pride to it. She attaches herself to that and is impermeable to good reasoning and to evidence. The very Christ, at the very center of our teaching, is love, and love even your enemy. That's not enough. That's, for her, she refracts that. So there we have it. That's stupidity. I saw it like that's stupidity, and the danger of stupidity right there. Because of course, probably she could bring a passage here and there. Yes, David killed Goliath. Okay, so killing is good. The wrong conclusion is that it's not making a case for killing. Let's kill. You see how serious this could get. So if you're practicing reasoning outside of good, faulty reasoning a lot, you may end up very naturally into this kind of, I don't want to even call them thoughts, this kind of ideas. And you have practiced so much with so many little stupid things that you attach stupidity again with the stubbornness, with this and this and this. And that when you get there, it's normal. Sure, killing people is good. Actually, the Bible encourages us to do that. Okay, she practiced a lot with other things, I bet. We have seen it in the class with things she says here and there. Well, now we got to this. It's like, okay, this is how you can progress, quote unquote, or digress from stupidity to sin and evil and hell. It is something to really think about and understand. I was driving back and thinking how important to understand and differentiate this. As we differentiate as Christians, Catholics, other parts of the gifts of God and the Holy Spirit, and we're just see all the parts and all that. Well, see all the parts of sin, of evil, and how it works, how it starts. So important. That's what I wanted to share. This is a very spontaneous video. I just came here, put the camera, and started because he's writing me. I just came back from it, and I was shocked. I was glad to be there, and I think that I don't know if teachers of catechism or authorities in church have this safety protocol or something to be alert when somebody starts to express this level of stupidity that can transform in a crime, and not take it lightly or okay, no, let's make sure. I mean, I needed to ask her seriously, like, and not judging her, but hey, you have somebody in mind and that you're thinking of doing this, you know. And well, she said not specifically, but you know. And the teacher joked, yeah, we all always think about it because when we get angry, ha ha ha. But well, maybe that helps. Actually, that helps. So like, yeah, lighten up. Tell us. Maybe you have a plan. You're starting to go into it. Anyway, very revealing, very concerning this, but I think the church is going to take care of this. There's a lot of good people, and pray for her. She's trying right this path and trying to open herself. So that's a long way to go from where she's at with these beliefs that she makes herself. And this is the other case we have in the Divine Comedy, and that talks about stupidity, and is the giant that is sort of above the gates of hell or something like that. The giants are there, and Nimrod, I think, is his name. Nimrod is the giant that helps create the Babel Tower, and in that sense is a symbol of arrogance. Like, I'll go over God, I'll overcome, I'll rebel, and we'll do something better. And you know, there's the arrogance there. So very interesting. And he is condemned in hell to speak his own language, a language that nobody understands. And there is mentioned stupidity. So it's very interesting because the stupid person, that is, okay, we're talking again about the full stupidity, when there's faulty reasoning outside of any good of the intellect, plus stubbornness, which comes with pride, at least. I don't know if it comes from pride. I know it could come from pride, but I don't know if all the cases. But pride is an element there. And this passage of the Divine Comedy is showing us that, yeah, he's putting arrogance, pride, right at the center. And that's how this giant, ends up condemned to talk a language that nobody understands. So he cannot communicate. He's isolated. He is the idiot. Like I mentioned in the previous video, the definition of idiota from Greek is the isolation, is the ultimate isolation of the person, the private person. Is it? Oh, so you're all in your head. So he's talking from that. So the stupid person is talking from that. It's a language that is, well, yeah, and it explains itself. There are more connections there. It's not just this sentence I say, faulty reasoning outside of good, but that is connected with this other, all faulty, going nowhere good. And it's a language. We can think of a language that this person understands only. It is cannot be penetrated yet. And I don't know how, and I'm learning about it, but I can see this metaphor with this giant Nimrod talking in isolation, a language that he only understands. And so I imagine you can tell him anything, he will not understand. And this is what Some of the philosophers that I mentioned in the previous video were saying, there's nothing you can do. It's a moral issue, it's something that that person has to do by herself or himself. So here I am thinking about this, and I thought of sharing it. Feel free to subscribe and please leave a comment. I want interaction on this. I need help. I'm listening. Let me know. And thank you for watching and for being there. Bye. Know that the Lord is God. He made us. His we are. His people, the flock he tends. The Lord is good. His kindness endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. So here we can see how very important things and reasonings, if you will, are put forth. One, that the Lord is God, that our God exists, that there is a God. Then he made us. His we are. So we are in a communion. We can have a relationship with him. His people, the flock he tends. The Lord is good, his kindness endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations. He's saying also good things that are eternal, and kindness and faithfulness and good. Lord is good. So here we can orient our thinking in the right direction. Is an invitation, if you will, to think clearly and good, towards the good. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me. I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish. No one can take them out of my hand. My Father, who has given them to me, is greater than all, and no one can take them out of the Father's hand. The Father and I are one." And here we have Jesus saying, first, "My sheep hear my voice." Right there, at first, is proclaiming that we as Christians listen. We listen, and that audire and obey. So we are receptive most of all at first, right there. And this will combat stupidity, because the stupid person does not listen. That's the problem. A stubborn person is blinded, is all walled around. So listening and being receptive is something that comes right there, comes forth right there out of the mouth of Jesus. And then it's created also the bond, very significant, very personal, carnal almost, with Jesus. We even, consume his body and blood, and we're so close. He's so intimate. And he's telling us that he is not separate from the Father. We are going to the Father too when we go to him. This is a way that we are more able to understand the divinity and have a personal relationship through Jesus. But Jesus is still the Father, is the Trinity, right? Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So this is beautiful, and I think it counters and put things in context of the things I was mentioning in this video. I hope you enjoy it and have a blessed Sunday.